How do you do? It would be a little unkind to present this picture without just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
Whoa, what's going on here? I messed up the screen. All right, I think we're good. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Wyatt's Metal Podcast. First thing is first, can you fucking hear me? We're not going to have problems again of going to talk for 16 minutes and I'm muted. Let me know if you can hear me and see annoying Rocket in the corner right here, who's usually super cute, and today is not. Today is... You ever be a parent and have one of those days where you just fucking cannot stand your kid at all? That's today. You can tell I'm not Hassan Piker because he's sitting there all nice and happy right now, and I'm not. But yeah, what is up, everybody? What are we talking about? we got lots of things to discuss, actually. Wasn't here last week. I was busy doing a bunch of stuff. My band played at the Whiskey A Go-Go. What else happened? I saw Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. Did some Halloween hootenanny stuff. And we have some people died. We're going to talk about that, unfortunately. But then we got some tours. A festival has announced its return. Sick New World. Or, I was going to think of a funny name for it. I'll do it later. Yeah, anyway, we got lots of stuff to go over. I hope you all are doing well. How was everybody's last 2 weeks? Did anyone do anything fun and metal? All right, you guys can hear me. Cool. So, we're doing well so far. Finally got it right. Cat is the main character. No idea who this dude is. Exactly. That's fair, you know. I'm fine with being the background character as long as I can sleep past 2 a.m. without someone screaming at me for food. Anyway. Let me catch up to the top here and catch some of these first comments before we get into everything. Night Fox, what is up? Says, somehow Sick New World returns with 2 festivals for some reason. That reason is money. And because System of a Down need to get an annual paycheck for playing 20-year-old songs. It really is. Like, it's hilariously just straight up System of a Down's festival. They played every single version of it that has happened. Or that is seemingly going to happen. The one year they weren't going to have System, it fell apart. What does that tell you? Yeah, anyway, we'll get to that. Sharon says, hi, Wyatt. How was your show at the Whiskey? It was pretty good. Trying to remember now. My brain's all jittery. No, it was pretty good. It was obviously really cool for me to play there because I'd never been on that stage before. So do have those moments of like, whoa, I'm up here. This is where I saw Bruce Dickinson and a whole bunch of people. And everyone got their whole start when they're coming to America and everything. The crowd was pretty good. There wasn't a whole lot of people, or at least from what I could see, it wasn't a whole lot of people. There's a couple of people down on the floor. People I saw down on the floor seemed to really be enjoying it. People I didn't know, didn't recognize it, were like, yeah. So that's always good. But in between songs, when we would end, it was really loud, and it was really loud coming from like the top bar area. So I don't know exactly how many people were up there, but it was pretty good. We were all pretty satisfied. Actually, we had some sound issues that weren't really our fault, but it was pretty good. It was fun to do. I thought we sounded good. We didn't have issues with how we sounded. The equipment there was being weird. Anyway. But yeah, that was cool. At the moment, we only have one show planned that can't be announced yet, but it definitely will be announced fairly soon for next year. But we will be having more coming up soon. Yeah, whenever people ask me, like, are you going to play here? Are you ever going to play over here? I'm like, yes, just eventually when we figured out, how to make it happen and everything. But we want to play everywhere, of course. Projector says Sick New World should just rename itself to Festival of a Down, considering that the only time they haven't gone through was the only time System of a Down didn't play. It's Paycheck of a Down. System of a retirement fund. Do we have anything on Hell's Enemy? I doubt that a Christian death metal band would go without controversy. Is Hell's Enemy a band? I haven't heard of who that is. So I have no idea. Sophia says, hi guys, I can't believe how much stuff has been happening the past couple of weeks. I know, I'm trying to remember all of it now, and I can barely remember what I did earlier today because I barely slept. Kinky Sizemore, what's up, man? Having a cigar and watching Wyatt Wednesday on my day off, recovering from the Fear Factory show last night. Oh, sweet. How was that? Yeah, I think I saw some of your posts of that show. Hell yeah. All right, let me catch up down here a little bit. Missile Girl says, finally got to see Dark Insanity live. Yeah, Missile Girl came out to the whiskey show. That was cool. We booed her. No, not sure. But Mr. Darkmare says, hello, Wyatt. Some idiot in Illinois trying to impersonate as Sammy Hagar today. That sounds awful. All right. It's going to take way too long if I stop and read all these. So let me catch up down here. Who is he talking to? Everybody. R.I.P. Sam Rivers of Limp Bizkit. Yeah, Sam Rivers of Limp Bizkit passed away. Ace Frehley of Kiss passed away. Kiss fame passed away. And that sucks. I was going to make a video on Ace, and I just was busy and had other stuff come up and blah. So I did want to take time in this episode today to actually go over the whole story with what happened with him, and we can all pay our tributes if anyone has any personal stories with Ace or his music. Because I was telling my friend the other day at the Alice Cooper show, it's like, even if you weren't necessarily a huge fan of Ace Frehley's music or like Kiss in particular, if you are a fan of guitarists who show off and like make their guitars explode and try to fuck them, then you're an Ace Frehley fan. You know what I mean? All right, where are we? Anyway, brutal year for rock and metal fans. It seriously has been. We get one really good one with Ian Watkins, and then after that, it's like, you make us suffer more. Sucks. Why don't you just take out more Ian Watkins? This is not a fair trade. Think Sick New World is worth the price this year. Well, what do you say we go over that one first? We'll do sad stuff later. Because I think most people probably want to talk about Sick New World right away. So why don't we do that first? Yeah, so what is it? I'm trying to think of funny names to refer to this. Serge Tankierin's paycheck, Serge Tankierin's retirement festival, Sick New World is back apparently. Let me pull it up. So I do have it here. Everything was super rushed and thrown off for me today. So excuse me if my brain half works more so than usual. Ladies and gentlemen, and goth and emo and alternative and hot topic fans of all ages, Sick New World is officially back, doubling down on the new metal craze this time. Because not only is Sick New World coming back to Vegas, it is also going to take place in Fort Worth, Texas later in October. Vegas one is happening in April. You could go to both. You could live in the LA area and be here in time to go out to the Sick New World in Vegas one, and then you could move to Texas in time to go to the Texas one. I don't know who would do that, who might be running a metal channel, who might want to do something like that, but I'm just saying it's an option. Interesting that it comes back at 2, especially because it went bankrupt basically last year by booking 2 fucking bands. Yeah, if anyone needs a history recap, Sick New World first took place, in 23, I think? And it was basically the same lineup it has now. And then it happened the next year, and it was basically the same lineup that it has now. And then it tried to get a really big lineup that was Metallica, Linkin Park, a bunch of really good death metal bands and black metal bands, surprisingly, and a bunch of other mainstream stuff I don't remember. And that one went under because both Linkin Park and Metallica were $5 million down payment each. I'm pretty sure with scrapping both those bands, you could afford putting on both of these festivals. And putting on 2 festivals after going that bankrupt kind of makes sense. They kind of want to get their money back, don't you think? Metallica wanted $3 trillion. Sup, Doggy says, I live in Fort Worth. I'll pass. Josh L says, I'll pass, you kids or emo adults have fun. Yep, pretty much. Count me out. It seems like not a lot of people are a fan of the coming year's lineup. Funny because, man, the one that ended up getting canceled, I thought actually had a pretty good lineup and was looking forward to it. Then they're like, let's just do the same thing again. So, System of a Down and Korn will return to Sick New World Las Vegas, taking place in April. And then we're going to Texas, where metal people are getting Slayer and a couple others. I looked it up. Tickets for both of them were $300 before tax. So it is 1-day festival. It's a lot you get in 1 day. Kind of an expensive price for a 1-day thing, but you could end up paying that $300 just to see System of a Down by themselves. You could end up paying that $300 to see Slayer. So if you think of it like that, if you're a big fan of these bands and it doesn't interlap too badly for you, then you could have a great day and get your money's worth. But yeah, so Vegas, we got System of a Down, Korn, Bring Me the Horizon, Ministry, AFI, Acid Bath. Big one everyone's excited about. Cold Chamber, Poison the Well, Terror, Clutch. I fucking love Clutch. Clutch in Vegas would be perfect. G. I don't know what that is. Scowl. Very popular band right now. Speed. Orgy. That sounds like Vegas. Describe Vegas in 2 words. Speed. Orgy. I don't know what that one is. Is that Alien Ant Farm? I think it was. I don't know what that one is. Bloodywood, which is cool. I still would like to see Bloodywood. I haven't gotten to yet. So there's always like a couple good bands hidden there and then some really big, I bought this shirt at Hot Topic bands. I can't even read these ones. Evanescence, who I think played all the other years as well. Marilyn Manson, first time at Sick New World. Melt in the Vegas sun, watching a almost, mid-50s goth eyeliner melt. It'll be hilarious. Knocked Loose, that'll be violent. Cypress Hill, that is cool for me. I love when Cypress Hill plays rock and metal festivals. I've seen them a shit ton of times. Love them. Mastodon, Filter, Danny Elfman, who I saw at the last Sick New World that actually happened in Vegas. Amazing. Loved it. Totally loved that special, unique performance of film composer in this whole... It's such a unique experience. He doesn't really tour, I don't think. I know he plays in LA sometimes. You're not going to see that at normal metal shows or tours or anything. That's honestly a big selling point, is seeing Danny Elfman. I thought it was great. He did the Simpsons theme, Beetlejuice, a lot more that I can't remember. Under Oath, Wage War, KMFDM. That is fucking cool. Awesome band. POD, Melvins, Twin Tribes, Health. I don't know what that says. Carpenter Brute, Failure, Kitty. Failure Kitty, that's you. Because you didn't let me sleep last night, you annoying fucking bastard. I love you. I love you. Wake up. I want you to make me food right now. God. I'm not holding a grudge. What are you guys talking about? Norma jeans. That's what everyone's going to be wearing at the Sick New World show. Corrosion of Conformity, who I fucking missed at the Alice Cooper and Judas Priest show. Unfortunately, it was getting there. Parking took a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Great band, though. Lords of Acid, who I got to see at Sick New World. I've loved him, and I'm not a big fan of that genre. Doesn't really appeal to me that much, but I thought they were great. And now I think they have the chick who used to be in Butcher Babies in it. And some more bands that I can't read. That is the Vegas one. A lot more eyeliner heavy than the Texas one is. Don't shock Rocket. I will never shock Rocket. I am not a subhuman monster piece of shit who pretends to be a good person for money. I'll just get very annoyed with him. This motherfucker sometimes, when I'm sleeping, there's times where I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and he is diving over my head repeatedly. Not stepping over it. Standing there going like, meow, 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 meow. I need to film it and put it in a video. John from System stated that him and Live Nation formed Sick New World, and when it switched hands, it's when it fell through. It's pretty much a System festival. There you go. Yeah. Is John the capitalist in System of a Down? That makes a lot of sense. But no, that's cool, I guess. But if the Vegas one doesn't appeal to you too much, the Texas one is a little bit better in October. Hang on. System of a Down getting 2 big paychecks this year with Deftones and Slayer doing 40 years of Rain and Blood for some reason is under Deftones. That is rude. That is dishonorable. How do we feel about Slayer coming back for this? I mean, obviously they're not retired anymore because Tom's wife needs more money, but I don't think they played in Texas yet since they came back, have they? Or maybe they have. I don't know. Their whole retirement thing was stupid as fuck. I mean, I'm happy people get to see Slayer now. Cool. I just definitely lost some respect for them after that. Got to get that cash. That's right. I mean, it will be a great show. They play with a ton of pyro. They still sound amazing. So it will be great, but kind of funny the jump from Bring Me the Horizon, Slayer. Under Slayer's Evanescence, one of these things is not like the other. And then we got Ministry. Dig that. Kind of surprised they're doing it again. AFI with their weird fucking Bob Ross looking singer now. Under Oath again. Marilyn Manson. Slayer and Manson back together again. Clutch. Down. Cool. Coal Chamber. Poison the Well. The Prodigy. So difference here. We've Texas has Slayer, Prodigy, Down, Ministry. What other bands it has the other one doesn't? Power Trip. That's a big one. I kind of just glanced right past that. That one eclipses the majority of the bands over here in Vegas. Any other different ones that they have? I think, is that Death Heaven? They're different. There you go. A lot of similar bands, but some heavy hitters that stand out that are different from here. It's like, I do like Cypress Hill, but Power Trip. Anyway, yeah. Power Trip should headline. Ministry forever. Fuck Under Oath. I'd love to see Prodigy. Coal Chamber. Now you get to pelt eggs at Dez. He'll try to charge you for them. Texas one sounds more interesting just because of Slayer and Power Trip. Yeah, exactly. That's a huge selling point right there by themselves. A lot of people would be very happy just with Power Trip, Slayer, System of a Down, throw in Prodigy. That's already like a great day. It's a festival for millennials. I'm not surprised Slayer is under, just disappointed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that they're not headlining because of System and it kind of being their festival and everything, but under Deftones is wrong. It's rude. But yeah, when I was looking, let's go to the website if we can. Blah, blah, blah. I wonder if all the sound will be good this time. It was better. The first year, the sound at Sick New World was dog shit. The second year was better, and then it fell apart. Is there not like a link to their website here? It would help if... Okay. Stop it. All right. Very professional metal show, if you can't tell, everybody. Very professional. Lineup out. This is for the Vegas one. But I did check, and the prices were the same for both of them. Oh, not at the pre-sale. Don't look there. If you go to here, yeah. General admission starting at $2.99 before tax. Does it say what the tax is? Probably a lot. It's the Vegas one would probably be more than Texas, just because of their taxes and everything. Yeah, just it could be the exact same lineup. I'd rather go with the Texas one just because Vegas is going to be way more expensive for everything else. And Vegas just kind of sucks nowadays. It's kind of dying. It's not really fun. It's only fun if you're there for a certain event. And once the event's over, if you've never been there, you can look at the main stuff and be like, oh, it's Vegas. And then be like, all right, I'm done. I'd rather go see Slayer in Texas. But if anyone is interested, Sick New World, there you go. Get fucked with those prices. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand that those prices are ridiculous for one day, but I also understand that if the schedule lines up for someone where you love all those bands and you can see the majority of them with no overlap, then it is kind of worth it. So it all just depends how the schedule is. Better lineup than what was planned for 2025, and this is coming from a Linkin Park and Metallica fan. There's a lot more variety this time. Also Slayer. That's all you got to say is Slayer. No Dark Insanity, no buy. This is facts. Absolute facts. But yeah. On the other hand, since I was just selling it, it could also not work out to where you could spend over $300, $400 or more dollars and go to the show, and all the bands you want to see are playing at the same time or similar times with each other, and you get very minimal sets, and the bands are already playing short sets. So maybe you shell out $400 and you get to see 2.5 songs from a lot of the bands you wanted to see. I don't know. Depends. Could go either way. That's festivals. Wait, it's one day? What? Spit on their name. Yeah, it's one day. Sick New World is a cash grab. Can't justify paying for their short as hell set list. Yeah, the majority of bands are playing 30 minutes or less. Even the bigger ones. I think Lamb of God played 25, 30 minutes at Sick New World. So there you go. You just split your consciousness into 5 and watch everyone at once. They don't have AI that good yet, nor DMT that strong yet. They're working on it. Metal Threat got real expensive for me. Ended up with 25 shirts and 4 more patches. Oh my God! This person supports racism. No, I'm kidding. I am totally kidding. Yeah, it's funny how that happens, isn't it? That even when I end up going to like smaller festivals, I'm like, oh, it'll be cool that, it's not Vakken or Hellfest or some huge thing. Food costs a lot of money in a lot of places now. And yeah, t-shirts. I rarely buy t-shirts nowadays just because of prices. If it's a more like underground band that needs the funds, then I'm much more willing to do that. But yeah. Any Danny Wimmer presents festival is way more worth the price. You get multiple days, so I mean, yeah, depending on the lineup, yeah, it is. For about the same price, you get a multiple day festival, which I pretty much would always rather go with. What I don't understand is why not extend it to 2 or 3 days? That just means less alcohol money. That's what I was saying. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you could even do it the same lineup and give bands more time to play. Fans would be happier and they would spend more money drinking more, which is where most shows get most of their money anyway. Same, only buy shirts from indies. Only buy shirts from indies and bootleggers, and that's it. It sucks. Like, yeah, I don't want to support people who make bootleg shirts. I don't want to support some guy who made his Judas Priest shirt and then selling it out of the trunk of his car and can't name a single fucking band. But at the same time, Judas Priest and Alice Cooper already have money. They already have retirement funds, and their t-shirts are $50. It's fucking absurd. Back in my day, back in the good old days, I remember t-shirts were usually like 20, 25. A sweatshirt was a 40, 45. Seeing t-shirts for 50 that aren't that impressive. It's not fucking bedazzled in gold or anything. It wasn't like drawn by Rob Halford himself. Some of them were just the album cover for $50. It's crazy. Old man, goddamn right, old man Wyatt. I don't affiliate with these youngsters at all. Shit. Not being 70,000 tons of metal and announcing the lineup the day before. Also money bad. They've been announcing a bit more bands lately. It's all right. I'm really jealous that they have Canon and Fiber, however the fuck you say it, playing the cruise ship, going to colonize the Bahamas. Yeah, I doubt I'll be on the next 70K, unfortunately. I got a hoodie from the Alice Cooper show. It was about 80 euros or so. Shit, it was an amazing show, though. It was an amazing show, absolutely. Merch is just so expensive. Kind of ridiculous. Most of the shirts were 25 and long sleeves were 35. That's what I remember prices being back in the good old days. At Milwaukee Metal Fest, they were still that. It was an amazing thing about it. I hadn't seen like $25 shirts in a long time until I went to Milwaukee Metal Fest. All right, where are we going? Ghost to a Ghost says, I've been smoking feed, says weed in the other. I've been smoking weed for 25 years and still clean my bong and replace screens every 3-5 times. Am I fucked? Yeah, it was probably fine. Fucked in terms of what? Just life, or like trying to do vocals or something? Or depends on you and how you are as a person and what you're trying to do. It's mostly not bands being greedy. It's Live Nation holding their stolen ground. Yep, totally. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying Judas Priest are personally making shirts $50. It's the whole industry. It's how live concerts work nowadays. My first Slayer concert tee was $1.25, and my firstborn totally worth it. There you go. Anyway, fuck else was I going to talk about? I guess we should get to some of... well, let's talk about Ace Frehley now, shall we? Let's pull up the original post where it happened. But yeah, where do we even begin? When did this happen? It was a couple days ago. I think it was the day of my show. That's nice. This is not pulling up what I wanted at all. I'm getting there. Bear with me, people. Blame Rocket. It. Oh my God, come on. All right, sorry. So, this was unfortunate news on October 16th, and that was the day of my show. That was a huge bummer. Legendary Kiss guitarist, original Kiss guitarist Ace Frehley passed away at 74. It was shocking news. The news of his passing came just hours after TMZ reported that the musician was hospitalized on life support after he'd suffered a brain bleed when he took a fall in his studio a couple of weeks ago. That is awful. Frehley's family issued the following statement to Variety. We are completely devastated and heartbroken. In his last moments, we were fortunate enough to have been able to surround him with loving, caring, peaceful words, thoughts, prayers, and intentions as he left this earth. We cherish all of his finest memories, his laughter, and celebrate his strengths and kindness that he bestowed upon others. The magnitude of his passing is of epic proportions and beyond comprehension. Reflecting on all of his incredible life achievements, Ace's memory will continue to live on forever. Earlier this month, Frehley scraped the remainder of his previously announced tour dates due to unspecified medical issues. So yeah, it sounds like he had a horrendous fall in his studio that not a pleasant last couple of days, I guess you could say. When Ace's Antelope Valley Fair cancellation was first announced, it was revealed that Frehley had had a minor fall in his studio, resulting in a trip to the hospital. It was not a minor fall. Was later advised by his doctors to refrain from travel in order to fully recover from his injuries. Jesus. What does the chat have to say to pay tribute to the Ace Man? Tone C, the last time I ever went trick-or-treating, we all dressed up like Kiss Dressed to Kill. I was Ace. Falls at that age are horribly serious, super sad. Yeah. God, it's super shitty that he seemed otherwise to be in pretty good health. You know, there were no signs that he was obviously sick of anything. How much more time could he have had if that awful fall didn't happen? Shitty. You know what was interesting was that day, my band played at the Whiskey, and the table we happened to be sitting at before we went on was like a Kiss table. It had a poster of all of them, and more Kiss stuff just like happened to be popping up after this happened. The Frehley's Comet albums are pretty good. Wide range of stuff in them. A couple songs like Scorpions, a couple of Yngwie, a couple were very Manowar. Yeah, anyway. I saw Midnight had a tribute to Ace on the night it was announced. They projected his face and the guitar shredded in his honor. That's cool. That's the thing. Like, yeah, it's every band you like, every band you listen to, they were hugely influenced by Ace and his crazy fucking playing and shooting fireworks out of his guitar. I always love that shit. And then when I went to the Judas Priest show, between Alice and Priest, they were playing a bunch of Ace Frehley and Kiss songs. That was such a hard part of the show. Was Judas Priest played Giants in the Sky, which is tribute to all of the metal icons who have passed, and it's showing Dio and Lemmy and Ozzy and all of these people that Rob knew, that Rob was good friends with and part of that whole group. So it takes on a whole different meaning than just like Midnight shredding to Ace Frehley is super cool. That's awesome. But it's not like they were friends with him and were along this journey with him. So to be with somebody like that at that time, it was really heavy. Not in the metal type of way, but in the sad, I want to cry way. My mom and brother were supposed to go see him on October 11th. Rest in peace, Spaceman. The man who wanted Kiss to keep being shocking. I like the interview with him where like a manager is telling him to tone it down or notice that there's a bunch of kids in the crowd. And he's saying, I'm trying to fuck my guitar and go crazy. What are you talking about? One thing you can say for sure now is that the afterlife, the other plane, heaven, Valhalla, whatever you want to call it, is loud as fuck right now. They've got Ace and Ozzy and Lemmy and Dio and everyone. That is the concert I want to go to. Bathory loved Kiss and took the name Ace as his nickname from Ace Frehley. Without Kiss, you wouldn't have had Bathory. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Without Kiss and Ace Frehley, you wouldn't have Immortal and Abbott. That's definitely true. Kiss music ain't it for me, but their aesthetic is so fucking cool. And agreed with what you said. They're your favorite band's favorite band. Fuck, rest in peace, Ace. Exactly. There's still some Kiss songs that I'll have fun to rock out to. But always jokes forever that Kiss is the band you look at and while you listen to black metal, and then it makes sense. So there was more things people had to say on it. Let's get to the other members of Kiss. Speaking on Ace's passing, one thing that I was really wondering was how it's affecting Gene Simmons. Not because I'm a massive Gene Simmons simp, but I'm just so concerned about how he's feeling. But in interviews with him after Ozzy passed away, you could tell that it genuinely hit him and kind of humbled him a bit. That's what he was saying. So if Ozzy's death had that effect on him, I'm wondering how Ace now, if Gene's feeling a bit more mortal or humble, or he's going through his Ebenezer Scrooge phase right now. Let's see. In a statement, Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons said, "We are devastated by the passing of Ace Frehley. He was an essential and irreplaceable rock soldier during some of the most formative foundational chapters of the band and its history. He is and will always be a part of Kiss' legacy. Our thoughts are with Jeanette, Monique, and all those who loved him, including our fans around the world." And then Gene wrote on X, "Our hearts are broken. Ace has passed on. No one can touch Ace's legacy. I know he loved the fans. He told me many times. Sadder still, Ace didn't live long enough to be honored at the Kennedy Center Honors event in December. Ace was an eternal rock soldier. Long may his legacy live on." Yeah, that was sad that Kiss is getting inducted in or honored at the Kennedy Center. It's a big American thing where the president is personally going to say, "Hey, Kiss, you're cool." And in an interview, Ace was really fucking excited about that. Like he was saying, it was one of the best honors of his life. So at least he got to know that it was going to happen before making it. But damn, I guess now that will be an even more dedication to Ace now for sure. In a separate statement, Chris said, "With a broken heart and deep, deep sadness, my brother Ace Frehley has passed away. He died peacefully with his family around him. My wife and I were with him to the end as well." Shit. I love you, my brother. My love and prayers go out to Jeanette, Monique, Charlie, and Nancy, and all of Ace's extended family, bandmates, fans, and friends. May the Lord comfort you at this difficult time. As a founding member of the rock group Kiss and in Ace's solo career, Ace influenced and touched the hearts of millions of people. His legacy will live on in the music industry and in the hearts of the Kiss Army. It says, Frehley passed away peacefully, surrounded by family in Morristown, New Jersey, following a recent fall at his home. Isn't life depressing, everybody? You come here for fun metal shit, and now we're all sad. Gene wrote a generic post. Paul tells a badass story. We'll see. I'll have to see Gene talk about it personally. Wait, they are lying, aren't they, about Ace? Because they replaced him with a clone? Well, I mean, it's really easy to feel bad about someone you shit talked after they die. You know? You might have some regrets then. I think their whole relationship has been kind of off and on throughout the last few years. Getting closer to a world without heroes. That's one thing I thought about seeing Alice Cooper and Judas Priest the other night is I'm going to get to a time where, I mean, a lot of people here, not just me, a lot of people here watching, we're going to get to a time where we're going to say that we saw Ozzy and Lemmy and all these people live, and people are going to go, what? No way, I can't believe that. And you're like, I'm old and dying. Anakin's anger management therapist finally decided to get out of bed and join the class. I'm an hour late. Oh, God, I overslept. I don't blame you, man. It's all good. What's up? That's funny. I like this comment. Ghost to a Ghost says, anytime one with a huge social fire dies unexpectedly, it really messes with the psyche of everyone with a heart. I really like that. That's a really good comment because there are times where someone of some notoriety, well-known person passes away, and you can feel it. You can feel the shift in the energy. Like, I'm not even a big basketball fan, but I live in LA. When Kobe Bryant died, you could feel it in the air. Like, you could have the TV off, not talking to anybody, and you could just sense that feeling. Yeah, and then obviously Ozzy, huge, exact same way. That's why, like, I understand you don't want to be so obsessed with a celebrity that you're like, oh my God, I can't live anymore because fucking Paris Hilton, whoever died. But artists can influence your life because of their music, and their art form affects how you develop and how you see the world. So of course you're going to have some type of connection to them. So yeah, like, it's not wrong to mourn a well-known person who passes away, even if you didn't know them personally. I would say it'd be wrong to mourn them more than like your own parents or something, but yeah, life and stuff. Welcome to Life Lessons with Wyatt's Metal. Rocket's going to sit there in the corner. This just in, Ian Watkins is still dead, everybody. It's not all bad news. Ian Watkins is, in fact, still dead. We still have reason to celebrate. Apparently, speaking on that really quick, apparently 4 inmates were arrested for their roles in the murder. And I was like, what? They're already in jail. What do you mean they were arrested? You mean someone just grabbed him today? Don't do that. They're making it seem like it was some conspiracy. People snuck in to kill him. Like it was just prison shanking. What are you talking about? See, now we can pick the mood back up. Everyone is sad with Ace passing away. Let's talk about a decapitation. That cheers everyone up real quickly. My first ever public speaking at high school was on Kiss. I cried due to stage fright as it was in front of all the school speech contestants. 15 years old, I wrote it based on a magazine article. Damn. Should have done it in Kiss makeup, and then you wouldn't have been as nervous and just spit fire at everybody. That's the style. The grift economy, that's a hilarious name. I didn't even cry when Kurt died, and I was a teenage Nirvana fan. I'm just not that way. It's sad when any person dies, even evil ones, because their chances of redemption are gone. I mean, that's fair, yeah. You're not required to mourn certain people or anyone just because others are either. I heard they tried to saw his head off. We are talking about Ian Watkins. We are not talking about Ace Frehley. We need to make sure we are separating these two before anyone gets confused. Yeah, the prison shaking of Ian Watkins, the most hilarious story of the last year. As soon as these cell doors, apparently Ian Watkins was paying for protection because kid diddlers don't last long in most prisons. They're kind of free game. It's like in a video game when it has Nazi zombies. No one feels bad about killing Nazis or zombies. So it's just it's free game. Same goes with pedophiles in prison. No one cares about them. You can do whatever you want. So I guess when he stopped paying protection, it was on. And they're being moved, a routine, I don't know, go to lunch or something. Cell doors open. Someone came up, shank him straight in the neck, and then is trying to like rip it out of him. It's really hard to do that. So this is not a clean cut like you see in Shogun or anything. Apparently it took a while. It was really messy and hopefully extremely painful for Ian. According to other people, actually, you know what? Can we watch a funny video now that we're talking about this? I'll let someone else describe it. We can all laugh together. Give me a moment. Pause. Get into it. So here's what happened to Sir Ian. This is from content creator JD Delay. I only found out about JD recently. He was a former convict. He was in prison for a while. I don't remember what for. And then is like come and turn his life around as kind of self-help motivator, kind of ripping on Woke Idiots channel. I gotta say, I gotta give him huge credit or huge shout out because when I didn't know of this guy at all, I saw one of his posts and I left a comment asking like for more info on a part about it, not expecting any notice at all. And he responded immediately and just gave me like more info and was super kind about it. So I was like, that's cool. You didn't have to do that. So shout out to JD. He seems cool. Anyway, enjoy laughing at this fucking idiot and what happened to him.
Ian Watkins is one of the most disgusting predators in human history. He used his status as the singer of the popular emo band Lost Prophets to manipulate women into allowing him access to their children. Ian was sentenced to 35 years in prison in the UK for his crimes.
Isn't that hilarious? One of the worst pedophiles in history, sentenced to 35 years in jail with a possibility of parole. In my perfect world, right after court, he would have been boiled alive.
But this morning, he was murdered in one of the most brutal prison attacks in UK history. Buckle up, everyone, because we're going in hard. Listen, everybody, I know that I said we're going in hard, and that sounded a little bit sus, but I gotta be real with y'all.
Whoa. Pause.
It was accurate. I'm bricked up right now. The fact that this dude was taken off of the planet so that nobody has to share oxygen with him anymore, and that it was done in such a brutal fashion, absolutely has me aroused.
Prison habits die hard, folks.
This is what I live for. This prison justice that happened this morning is my I told you so. Because 2 years ago, in 2023, when he was kidnapped, held hostage inside of a cell by 3 other inmates, beaten for hours, and stabbed repeatedly, I told you guys
Love foreplay.
that this would happen. Well, guess what, y'all? Today, I was proved correct.
Singer Ian Watkins, who was jailed for child sex offences, has been killed in an attack in prison. The former Lost Prophets singer, who was convicted in 2013, was attacked in Wakefield prison this morning. Our correspondent Alice Porter joins us now. What are the police saying, Alice?
Well, we understand this happened earlier this morning by a member of somebody at the prison who attacked Ian Watkins. Now,
Why do you put the sad music over? I'd be playing like the Looney Tunes.
violence in prisons is, of course, very commonplace, but an attack like this that it resulted in a murder, in a death, is actually incredibly rare. But we understand this is not the first time he's been attacked. He was stabbed back in 2023, not fatally, and clearly that has changed this time, where we understand, according to sources, that
They chopped his freaking head off!
a knife was used in this attack this morning. Now, we have got a statement from West Yorkshire
And remember, this is a prison knife. It's probably not that sharp.
Police, who say at 9:39 a.m. this morning, police were called by staff at H&P Wakefield reporting an assault on a prisoner. Emergency services attended and the man was pronounced dead at the scene a short time later. Detectives from the homicide and major inquiry team are investigating, and inquiries remain ongoing at the scene. Now, we understand that the prison went into a lockdown immediately after this attack. Now,
Lockdown or a celebration.
it was 2013 that Ian Watkins, the former Lost Prophets singer, was sentenced for a string of child sex offences, 13 offences, including the attempted rape of a baby. So he certainly would have been a high-profile prisoner, partly because of his fame. He was the lead singer in the Welsh band Lost Prophets, which
It's weird to tell people this story who are completely unfamiliar with it, because many of us remember it as it happened, so we just know of this monster. When you come across someone who has no idea who Ian Watkins is, and they're like, oh, what's with his deal? And you're like, do you have a good therapist already?
sold millions of albums around the world, but he also would have been vulnerable to being targeted because of the horrific crimes that he committed, and paedophiles are very vulnerable to being attacked in prison. And unsurprisingly, Ian Watkins, who was sentenced back in 2013 for a string of sexual offences against children, would have been very much a target for any other inmates in the prison.
Now, HMP Wakefield is one of the most violent prisons in the UK. It is where they house the absolute worst of the worst offenders. It has been
Not bad enough.
named Monster Mansion by the people of the UK because it's where they send absolute creatures. The people who have the most heinous and violent crimes. And even amongst these, Ian Watkins stood out as somebody who was so depraved and horrific that he needed to be dispatched.
Why are you shouting at me? You're pulling me closer to your face and getting really loud. It's really uncomfortable.
From this planet. But what was it about Ian Watkins that made him so particularly disgusting and evil? Well,
his music.
First of all, it was his choice of preferred victim. He liked infants, literal babies, and one of his charges is for what he did to one of them. They also found 27 terabytes of child explicit images aging from the ranges of 2 to 14.
He said 27 terabytes of not cool pictures of children. I genuinely don't think that I could fill up 27 terabytes of pictures of anything. I think if I took pictures of everything I did for 20 years, I don't think I'd be able to fill up 27 fucking terabytes. Pictures don't take up a lot of memory. That's insane. What is it with pedos having like unbelievable collections of it? They're never like, I have a folder. They're like, I have an entire underground bunker running computer systems just with this horrific shit on it. Terabytes, 27. Forget Ian, who's making this shit. Exactly. Barbecue them too. JD never ever talks. He only shouts. The pain of children is honestly so far out of my psyche that I literally not wrap my head about justifying this behavior. Nobody can. Like, yeah, if you're a good person, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around how someone could justify doing that or think it's okay. I was saying to someone in a conversation about something else. We were talking about Hassan Piker, actually. Some people are just fucking evil. Sometimes you're not going to be able to understand why they do the fucked up things they do. Sometimes they're just fucked up. Sometimes it's a very good thing that you can't understand why they do those things because it means that you don't affiliate with these psychopaths. He was trying to get to 1 petabyte. I guess that's a Predator like achievement that they get to cross off. Hassan only uses his dog as a stream prop. Exactly. Which, I mean, I guess we should be thankful that he doesn't use it as dinner. But, yeah. Fuck Hassan Piker. Fuck Sasha Grey. Fuck everyone who's defending an animal abuser. Back to JD.
Well as bestiality images and videos. This was so much for the police to be able to process. His 27 terabytes was bigger than the police's database, and they had to go out and get new equipment to be able to process all of this. Even after he was given this lengthy prison sentence, he continued.
You know the worst part about these Predator scumbags having terabytes of that shit? Someone on the police force, one of the good guys, has to go through that shit.
To try to groom young women that for some reason decided that they wanted to write him and come visit him into sending him images of their children. After the 2023 kidnapping, hostage, assault, stabbing incident with Watkins, where 3 other inmates ended up going to the hole for what they did to him, I knew right then and there that his days were numbered. And this morning, when he got up to leave his cell for breakfast, somebody was lying in wait. They ambushed him. They grabbed him from behind, got a hold of his hair, and they slit his throat trying to saw his head off in front of correctional officers and inmates alike.
You see how he's saying it in a way to get you like pumping, like, yeah, and then what happened? And then what happened?
These people were interviewed and they said it was the most brutal thing that they had ever seen in their lives. They tried to save Watkins, but there was absolutely no way. He was pronounced dead on scene.
I tried to save Watkins. You mean they looked at the pile of blood and they were like, ugh, get a mop.
And now the world doesn't have to deal with this demon ever again. Now, I think that there are some people who have a more honed intuition, a sixth sense, when they're confronted by somebody who is inherently evil inside. And I think that Chester Bennington from Linkin Park was one of those people. So I want to play you this clip of Ian Watkins talking about how him and Chester did not get along.
I remember when we were opening for
Linkin Park.
Yeah, the singer of Linkin Park is a fucking tool as well.
You're not the first person I've heard say that. The rest of the band are nice.
The rest of the band are amazing.
Like Chester, you should have known right there something was wrong.
Really, really cool, but that singer is a fucking tit.
Metal people like Chester.
You know what I mean? He's just an idiot. He's an idiot.
Yeah, or maybe Chester could just smell the diapers on your fucking breath and sense the evil that lived where your soul should have been. But either way, Ian Watkins is not here on planet Earth with any of us anymore, and I couldn't be any happier about that. And I couldn't be any happier that prison justice actually finally kicked in, and that not only did this dude live through over a decade and a half of suffering and anguish and being beaten and stabbed and kidnapped and talked shit to, but now in the end, he's never ever gonna see the streets to be able to hurt another child or literal fucking infant ever again.
If someone just came into the podcast right now, they're probably like, what the fuck are we talking about?
And when we find out exactly who it is that did this, I want to let you know, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check their record to see what crimes they were there for. And as long as they weren't there on some really heinous shit, I'm going to put money on their books. Because they're going to spend some time in the hole. They're going to get new charges for probably first-degree murder. And it's definitely going to add time to their sentence if they weren't already serving life, that they did this, that they killed Ian Watkins. And if they're not some horrific monster themselves, I'm going to make sure that they get some honey buns, some soups, some whatever the fuck they want.
This man was talking about being bricked up and being turned on. Now he's talking about giving some honey buns to a man. Prison changes you people.
Because I appreciate the work that they did here today. But what do y'all think about this?
I don't know how moral it is to be able to just say publicly on an entertainment platform, yeah, I'm going to put money on this guy's books for murdering someone. I mean, you know, it's fun, but now, yeah, shout out to JD Delay. He was very cool to me when he didn't know me at all, and I appreciate that. Shout out to the people who killed Ian Watkins, even though they're also bad people, but sometimes bad people do some good things. It's okay. Celebration time. Facts. Honey buns. Wait, can we call people pedophiles now? We should stop self-censoring. Yes, as long as they're actually pedophiles. Don't go false slandering people. But I've proved that in my last couple of videos. On the Ian Watkins video, on the talking about daytime TV, on my short calling this out, I said the word rape. I showed people saying the word rape. I said the word suicide. Guess who didn't get any restrictions or demonetized or any stupid shit? There was definitely a time when that was happening. So I'm not saying like all YouTubers who said the word grape are full of shit. There was a time where they seemingly had to. YouTube changes their rules a lot. But in the last while, I've been testing it. I've had no issues at all. And it obviously gets to a point of you sound stupid and you start self-censoring and you start neutering the meaning of words when you're like, oh, this horrible monster graped this girl and sewer slided them. Someone will be like, wow, that sounds fun, rather than talking about a serious fucking crime, you know? So yeah, maybe some YouTubers are just haven't tested the waters yet or remember the water being hot and haven't dipped their toe in yet. But I'm letting you all know I'm standing out here saying, shoot me for saying the word rape, and no one has shot me yet. So there you go. Thank you so much for posting that short on self-censoring. We needed that. Yeah, and like this person says, YouTube keeps changing shit. So maybe tomorrow they'll be like, hey, anyone who says that, you're banned for life. But it obviously gets to a point of crossing the line from you're operating in parameters you feel like you have to talk about this subject, and that goes to you're just self-censoring now. You're just making this seem like not as a serious thing as it actually is. Especially when people say unalive instead of kill or murder. It just hits the ear wrong. Yeah, exactly. And it sounds fucking ridiculous to say... What the one I heard recently was sewer slide, which is supposed to be suicide, but it's just... You said it with a lisp after you got hit with a shovel. Can't imagine any serious person being like, oh, Barbara, I'm so sorry for your son. I heard that he committed sewer slide. I hope that makes you feel better. Barbara would probably punch you in the face. But anyway. I notice you have a cat. Yes, that is Rocket. He's an annoying asshole today. I'm not giving him any attention right now. But he's still free to go anywhere he wants and not be shocked. Especially now that we're on the self-censoring topic, YouTubers who talk about true crime situations, they know they're going to be talking about a rapist or a serial killer or some horrific shit. And they not only will say grape, they will censor the word kill, which is not an offensive word. They will, I've seen so many ones who'd be like, this person, this girl. And I'm like, huh? I don't know who needs to hear this. You can say the word kill. That's not offensive. You can say the word Nazi. It's super weird when people go to type Nazi and they put the @ symbol instead of an A to try to be like, oh, it's so bad. You can just fucking say it. What the hell is wrong with you? That is so bizarre. Self-censoring is stupid. Don't be retarded. That's I'm about to unalive some homemade chili. That's what I'm saying. Unalive sounds like Frankenstein. Not like your depressed father put a shotgun in their mouth, you know? Worst one yet is Yahtzee. Yeah, stop doing that. It makes it sound really fun. It sounds like, oh, the Yahtzee came to Berlin. The Yahtzee went into Poland, and they were like, fuck yeah, can we join? That sounds fun. You see how that works? It's so stupid. George Carlin would have so many problems right now. What are we doing? Words offend me! You sound like a current day metal fan. Sounds like Europe really loves dice games. They had a huge Yahtzee game back in the 30s and 40s. A lot of people got really emotional about it. You know how that happens. Yeah, don't self-censor. I think it's stupid. Anne Frank must have had a wonderful time at Yahtzee parties. She never came down from her attic. She was so busy playing Yahtzee games. It's like, you know, kids get obsessed with these things in there. Welcome to Offensive Jokes, ladies and gentlemen. YouTube is not a place where you can actually have a serious conversation, especially with the interruption ads. Well, that shows that you don't pay for YouTube. I don't ever see interruption ads because I pay for YouTube because I can't stand it, or find a really good ad blocker. We all know context doesn't matter, though. They do that to try to keep themselves in the good graces of the algorithm. Keywords in the transcript literally make your video less recommended. Yes, that is true. I probably wouldn't recommend putting rape as one of your key terms. But I mean, if you're in the video talking about it and you're talking about someone who did it, and especially if you know you're going to be talking about that subject, why are you using such retarded Care Bear language? You could be more creative than just grape. I do it all the time on the spot of makeup shit. Rocket's trying to be all cute now as I'm ranting about things. Must appease the Disney gods. Bro, I don't have money for... That's fair. We'll find a good ad blocker then. Where are we at? We did pay tribute to Ace Frehley now. I think we should pay tribute to... Getting to it. Recently, shock out of nowhere, Sam Rivers, bassist for Limp Bizkit, passed away. That fucking sucks. Don't care what anyone says. Huge Limp Bizkit fan. If you're not, you suck. How can you not have fun with Limp Bizkit? No one's cool enough to not have fun when rolling and break stuff. Come on. Yeah, so... TMZ has revealed more details surrounding the passing of Limp Bizkit bassist Sam Rivers. The Fred Durst-fronted outfit announced on Saturday, October 18th, that Rivers died earlier that day at age 48, which is not old. That is tragic. Earlier today, a spokesperson from the St. Johns County, Florida Fire Rescue told TMZ that they responded to a call for a non-responsive person in cardiac arrest on Saturday. Additionally, a rep for the St. Johns County Sheriff told the tabloid site that deputies responded to an attended death at that address. Sounds like cardiac issue. That's terrifying. You get older and you could just go at any second. An attended death is one in which the descendant has been a patient under medical care for a serious or life-threatening illness that will likely lead to death in a relatively short period of time. So that, I guess, implies that it wasn't, he was totally chill and fine, then all of a sudden have like a massive heart attack. It was something that caused it to be in bad condition really quickly. The Asian guy from the last stream will not approve of this chat. My favorite Limp Bizkit song is Rearranged. Same age Peter Steele passed. God damn. 48 is way too young. Anyway, yeah, that was a shocking announcement, and Fred Durst did release a video tribute to him that I think is only fair that we play, if it will work. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing here. The one and only Holy Prophet Fred Durst on the passing of Sam Rivers.
Sam Rivers, the legend, truly. Such a gifted, unbelievably sweet and wonderful person. And, you know, how I met Sam was, I'd put a couple iterations of an idea of a band I was, you know, trying to make happen in Jacksonville, Florida. I had this idea and vision for this particular type of, you know, style and sound, and I just couldn't get it together right. And so I decided I'm going to go out and find the right players to do this and bring this thing together. And I'd gone into this little tiny bar, pub, where this band was playing at Jack's Beach called Pier 7, and there Sam was on the stage with his band, killing it on the bass, and I went, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. And in my mind, it was you had to start with the rhythm section, the bass and the drums. And
completely agree.
Didn't know who I was going to meet first to put this idea together. Didn't know if it'd be the drummer or the bass player, but it was the bass player. I saw Sam play and I was blown away. He's playing a 5-string bass too. I'd never really seen someone using a 5-string bass, and he was so smooth and good, and he stood out, and I could hear nothing else but Sam. Everything disappeared besides his gift. And I went up to Sam after the show and I said, "Hey man, you're unbelievable. I got this idea for this band I want to do," and kind of threw it out there and told him what I wanted it to be. And he looked at me and he says, "Killer, I'm in. Let's do it." I was like, "Oh my God. Well, let's do it." And, that's kind of how things started to come together. I had a bass player. And after me and Sam been jamming around and messing around for a bit, I started looking around for other players and things. And Sam said, "Well, my cousin John's a killer drummer. He's a jazz drummer. He should jam with us." And I said, "Well, jazz would be great because it'll give us that kind of beat we want, that kind
You want a jazz drummer. No matter what band, no matter what style of music you're playing, you want a jazz drummer.
That swag. And so I met I met John through Sam, and saw that John had the thing. He had it, so me, John, and Sam are jamming in Sam's garage. I'm playing the guitar at the time and kind of rapping and singing, and I can't really play guitar well, so it's tuned to drop D, and I'm one finger noodling it, and Sam's filling it in and holding it up because clearly I couldn't. And John and Sam, it was a magical thing, the two of them, and I felt like this is it. This is it. This is what I've been looking for. And Sam had this thing about him where anything I could spit out of my mouth, try this, we'll do this or this, Sam could do it, and do it 1,000 times better than I could hear it in my head. And also Sam and I shared an affinity, a love for, grunge music. That's something that we were both really on the same page about. Sam really loved Mother Love Bone and Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots and the whole Seattle grunge movement. And he had this kind of ability to pull this beautiful sadness out of the bass that I'd never heard. I mean, he would play chords and the way he just so talented. I can't explain. I know I'm all over the place here. I just, thinking about him, and it's so tragic that he's not here right now. And I've gone through gallons and gallons of tears since yesterday. And I'm thinking, my God, Sam's a legend, He did it. He lived it. With Limp Bizkit, we've just been on such a journey. It's been a massive roller coaster. And it's here we are just having this incredible moment, man. And it's going so beautifully smooth. And Sam was just really, really happy about it. And, rock stadiums together, been around the world together, shared.
I saw Limp Bizkit on the tour they did with Corey Feldman and all those people. They're super weird tour. I made a video on it. First time I got to see them, fucking incredible. So amazing. Like, no shame. We'll go see Limp Bizkit anytime I can. And it seems like, I think Sam was on that tour. It said that he was with the band up until this last tour was done.
So many moments together, and I know that wherever Sam is right now, he's smiling and feeling like, man, I did it, and man, did he do it. what he's left us behind is priceless. You know, he's such a special person, and you know, Sam's a very private person too. So the few people that were able to be close with him and around him know what I'm saying to be true. He's a very, very special, genuine person. And when he got on that stage, it's that Sam I am, that Sam Rivers came out, and just he's a beast, just an amazing, amazing person. And when I think back to how I met him and how all this kind of came together, Sam was the first guy, that really, you know, came in and helped make this dream come true. And he didn't think twice about it. He's just like, yeah, let's go. Sounds great to me. Let's do it. And, you know, I was 25 years old and he was 18 years old. And, you know, young and just had all that fire in him and all that talent. And, you know, I just knew that I was very, very, very fortunate to have him in my life. And I'm so grateful, so incredibly grateful to have shared, you know, part of this journey with Sam Rivers, a huge part of this journey, huge part of my journey. I'm super, super grateful, and I miss him terribly already. And all the support and love out there I've seen online, it's overwhelming. He really did have an impact on the world, and his music and his gift is the one that's going to keep on giving. And I just love him so much. And thank you guys.
God damn. How's Freddie D gonna make me cry right now? That's not fair. Who the fuck is chopping onions? You're not allowed to chop onions on the Wyatt's Metal podcast. We are all allergic to onions here. Damn, yeah. What do you even say to that? I bet a lot of people now would go back and listen to these Limp Bizkit songs and focus more on the bass and realize how much it stands out and how much it really made the music and the groove, obviously. Seriously, how are all these people dying? It just seems accidents or just not looking after themselves. It has been a lot lately. They tend to go in threes, and those threes have been multiplying lately. Poor Fred, you can tell this has really broken him. I hope he's doing okay as much as he can be. Yeah, really. I think they said that they are still planning on doing shows that they have announced, which is big, kind of crazy. Yeah. Despite the loss, Limp Bizkit has chosen to continue their Papa Gringo tour in South America with upcoming shows dedicated to honoring Rivers' legacy. That's got to be so... That's a short amount of time to go back onto the stage with a founding member who just died. Yeah, that's... How can you be at a Limp Bizkit concert, jumping around, having fun with the red hat, and then also being sad and mourning at the same time? Give me something to break. Sorry. No, that sucks. Yeah. R.I.P. to Sam and to Ace Frehley. And to the blade that shanked Ian Watkins' neck. It was a good blade. But the show must go on, as Sup Doggy says. And let's talk about something that won't have everybody fucking crying. Well, it has a certain amount of people crying in comment sections. A bunch of Americans who suddenly understand foreign politics. In the world of metal, breaking, huge story. There's actually lots of politicians out in the world nowadays who like metal music. That's something that would have seemed impossible a couple decades ago. And breaking story is that Sanae Takaichi, I think I said that right, Japan's first female prime minister, historic right there, plays Iron Maiden and Deep Purple to let off steam. Japan has elected their first female prime minister. She is not only a fan of metal, she is a metal drummer. She drums on her free time. And she rides motorcycles. She's fucking badass. And Andrew Lee is crying about white supremacism right now. Andrew Lee would say it's because of white supremacy that Japan elected their first female metalhead to run the country. She is fucking awesome. That's so cool. Oh my god, yes, the new Japanese prime minister, saw it on the news yesterday. Japan is becoming the land of based. Japan is returning to the land of based. They definitely were before. They elected a metal MILF. That's a good way to put it. Prime Minister Metal MILF. Japan's Iron Lady listens to Iron Maiden. The country's parliament elected veteran, ultra-conservative lawmaker Sanae Takaichi to serve as the next prime minister on Tuesday, making her the first woman to take Japan's highest public office. Takaichi is an admirer of Margaret Thatcher. Not the biggest fan to metal fans, but Britain's first female prime minister who is nicknamed the Iron Lady. She favors a strong economy, strong military, and strong riffs, and strong drum riffs. She was on Baby Metal's podcast. Apparently, Baby Metal has a podcast in Tokyo. On Japanese radio station Tokyo FM, Baby Metal podcast confirmed a longtime affinity for the iconic British heavy metal band Iron Maiden, but said her favorite artist was Japanese drummer Yoshiki of the ex-Japan rock band from Chiba. I'm trying to say it right. Yoshiki is about, I don't care. This is the prime minister of Japan right now. Don't fuck with her. She'll blast beat your country to shit. Takaichi's passion for guitar-driven loud music doesn't stop at fandom. She rocks. Since her days as a student, she's played both the drums and guitar, and says it's that parallel that makes her such a fan of Yoshiki. And Andrew Lee is raging right now. This will not stand. This is offensive. This is racism. She used to play the drums in a heavy metal band that did Black Sabbath and Deep Purple covers. She is a prime minister of a country with a military, and she knows how to play War Pigs. That is epic. If Japan declares war on anybody, I want her to do it during a drum solo. We, the people of Japan, declare war. Blah, blah, blah. They say there is still an electronic drum kit in her parliamentary residence, though she plays with headphones to avoid interrupting her colleagues. What kind of a politician is that? She told Tokyo FM podcast host that while it's no longer a daily ritual, she still plays the drums to relieve stress. When I get irritated by my husband's choice of words or behavior, I play the electronic drums after he's gone to bed. That's fucking rude. She said, Burned by Deep Purple is a staple. I play songs like this to let off steam. This is also the current prime minister of Japan, a badass on a bike. I love this woman. Black belt and dude, do not fuck with Japan, I swear. In honor of the new Prime Minister of Japan, Wyatt's Metal declares that Godzilla will stay the fuck away from there. We don't want to fuck with them at all. I'm not going to go mess around with that. Doesn't the president of the Philippines or some nation like that love napalm death? Maybe. I think so. It does sound familiar. I know. I think he's the prime minister of Taiwan. Is the frontman for Thonic, black metal band. So that's cool. Well, female leader Japan is done, but she's a super based female leader. There's the difference. Ghost to a Ghost says, I love Japan, lived there for some years. That's cool. I would love to visit. I am not a big fan of sci-fi, or not sci-fi, I mean, like anime, kind of cyberpunk-ish future stuff. I would really love to see the historical places, like the kind of the old shrines. I'm almost done reading the book Shogun. So I've been very into Japanese culture and stuff lately. This fucking book is so long, it drives me nuts. I'm almost done with it. But yeah. Anyway, I would love to go check out more like the nature and history spots of Japan. Yeah, so Japan is now officially far more metal than the UK. But what else are we doing? While we're talking about it, things that offend people and make them sad. Where are we at? This new interview, statement, whatever, just popped up on Metal Injection. Huge fans of the channel. They really love me and my criticisms of them. This article just popped up as I was starting this podcast. Slaughter to Prevail's Jack Simmons offers a confusing defense of Nazi allegations against the band. I'm sure this will be completely non-biased and level-headed, as we know always happens from Metal Injection. Says, art is political whether anyone wants it to be or not, and obfuscating the politics behind your art with the we just want to make music stance is weak. Fuck you, Greg. You are not an artist. All you do is shit talk about other bands when you're a fake author. All you do is bitch about people you don't like. You act so fucking high and mighty against all these bands when all you do is copy paste these shit articles and rant your stupid opinion. Anyway, sorry I got a little distracted, but yeah, I haven't read this yet. Slaughter to Prevail's Jack Simmons has addressed the swirling controversy. I guess you could say swirling. I would say boring and outdated. Stranding his bandmate Alex Terrible's use of Nazi-associated imagery, claiming the deathcore outfit has no far-right leanings, just a history of bad decisions. In a new interview with Ultimate Guitar, Simmons, who co-founded the Russian-American band with vocalist Alex Terrible, spoke candidly about the backlash that's trailed the group in recent years. At the center of the storm is Terrible's now-covered Black Sun tattoo, or the Sonrad, as it's also called. This is such a boring conversation. According to the ADL, nobody fucking cares what the ADL has to say about anything. Moving on. Though it is worth noting that the Black Sun specifically originated in Nazi Germany and that the symbol is so closely tied with Nazi blah, 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 tied with Nazism that parading it around is just a bad idea no matter what you mean by it. It's like people defending the swastika, saying it was originally used in various Eurasian religions and cultures. Eurasian? What about... Is that how you describe like Indian and Hindu cultures? Is that your... I honestly don't know if that's Eurasian or not. I don't think so. Still, Simmons leans on that nuance. It is our own fault, bad decisions in the past, he admits. There's always going to be a group of people we can't change the minds of, and we're not really out here to do that. We just want to make music. If you come to our shows, there's a lot of love, no fights. We don't want any radical shit or people or anything to be pulled into our show. He goes on to say that the cultural context of certain symbols in Eastern Europe, where Terrible is from, is often lost in Western discourse, which is fucking true. It's about connecting. For us, music is about connecting people that can get lost when all this shit goes a bit crazy online. Before we get into his fucking diatribe. Fuck off, Black Salt. Black Sun is an occult symbol. Which, yeah, it was used by Nazis who were into the occult. There you go. If I wear a mask, your fuck says, to be fair, I'm way more racist than them. Nobody says anything when I say it for some reason. That's not me saying that. That's if I wear a mask, your fuck saying that. Don't misquote me. Stupid white Bay Area people and Andrew Lee. Reason why it's so hilarious when they try to merge Hitler into Christianity, dude was a neo-pagan at best. Yeah. Yep, everything they don't like is Hitler. If you're lactose intolerant, that's Hitler. But anyway, as Salty Greg was going to say about wanting to connect with people through music, and yeah, that's fair, ... But actually, but also don't put the onus on us collectively for shit going a bit crazy online. No, 100%. If this is... I'm not the one with the questionable tattoos, man. Neither is Alex Terrible, not anymore. Because he got it covered up. And he's addressed this countless fucking times. But people like you keep talking about it. So it is, in fact, on you to get the fuck over it. Plus, saying that you're here to just make music and get along isn't exactly denying the accusations either. Art is political, whether anyone wants it to be or not. And obfuscating the politics behind your art with a "we just want to make music" stance is weak. I really hope that when Metal Injection goes under in a year or two, that Greg does get his dream job of writing for Vice or CNN or MSNBC, any of these places that he clearly wants to write for. You're not the one with the questionable tattoos, man. No one's talking about you, man. You're the one bringing accusations against them that they've addressed countless fucking times. Art is political, whether anyone wants it to be or not. Tell that to Goodalox. I hate that fucking shit. You're deciding everything is political. You and Andrew Lee are good friends of each other, aren't you? Fucking Christ. Dude, how did these whiners become metalheads? I don't understand how you can listen to insane blood gore and be offended by everything. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It would be different if Alex Terrible was out there being like, yes, I'm a Nazi, fuck you. Then that would be different. He's not doing that. He's explained this countless fucking times, and these fucking dweebs just keep hampering on about it. Why do these people have such a problem with Alex Terrible, have no problem with Ozzy Osbourne, who said in an interview so hilariously that he was inspired to get on stage by Adolf Hitler? Nobody talks about that, but they keep hampering on Alex Terrible over a dumbass tattoo. Where are we? My words are crashing into each other and I forget what the fuck I'm saying. Art is politic argument for I'm politically retarded to make true arguments about art. Exactly. Greg sounds like he thinks all vitamins are suppositories. The swastika was used in Buddhism and other religions before Adolf Chaplin took it over in the 1920s. I used to work at this weed place called Harborside in the Bay Area, California, and they were all into their, like, you know, we're all hippies and spiritual. We're not just drug abusers. But they had a bunch of artwork and, like, blankets, tapestry of Indian, Hindu culture, Buddhism. There were a lot of like monk symbolage and stuff around. And some of them had swastikas on them. And they weren't the, you know, black bam in your face one. It had more symbols around it, but it was there. No one was attacking them for being Nazis. And by the way, I think neo-Nazis are fucking retarded. If that needs to be addressed, if that needs to be cleared to anybody. I also think people who consider everything they don't like Nazi to be equally as retarded. Where are we? Do you tell Municipal Waste that their art is political, whether they like it or not? Just wondering. Avoiding direct comment on Terrible's past, Simmons instead points to a personal anecdote involving his girlfriend's grandmother, who lives in Ukraine and owns carpets adorned with the black sun. I said to my girlfriend, "You know that's a Nazi symbol, right?" She laughed at me like I was being disrespectful. She's like, "How dare you insult the Fuhrer?" She's like, "Are you saying my grandma said Nazi? She was under Nazi occupation. This is our symbol. It means heritage and family, but that's lost in translation. The translation, it's also lost in my retarded speech." Craig's response to that is, woof. So he said that her Slavic grandmother was under Nazi occupation and says that it is not a Nazi symbol. The Nazis stole it. It's their symbol. That means heritage and family. She's clearly not Nazi if she was occupied by Nazis and didn't seem to be a fan of it. And Salty Greg, professional author, says, woof. Great response, sir. Maybe don't bring that story up again, man. Maybe go fuck yourself, Greg. Like, seriously. That's so you want an explanation. So you say they're Nazis. They say, no, we're not. You say, how are you not? They say, this is why. Then you go, woof, don't bring that up again. Sounds like you don't want a conversation, Salty Greg. Where am I? Fuck, I got missed. Maybe don't bring up that story again, man. That's like someone saying they know a guy who has a flag of the Confederate States because it's their culture. Yeah, a culture of fucking losers. Salty Greg of Metal Injection, did you just call a Slavic grandmother who was under Nazi occupation a fucking loser? Nice one, Greg. Good fucking move right there. You tolerant piece of shit. Terrible previously addressed the tattoo on the Downbeat podcast in September, denying any affiliation with far-right beliefs, but admitting he got the ink during a time he was surrounded by right-wing guys who were strong physically, smart, don't drink. He said the tattoo represented his interest in esoteric ideas, not extremism. But white Americans decided, no, we decided that you're a Nazi. He also admitted he didn't realize the symbol's offensive connotations until several years after covering it up. I didn't understand it at all, he said, clarifying that the cover-up wasn't a renouncement of ideology, but a professional decision to protect the band's future. It's not a tattoo I would get, but I also have 2 tattoos now that I probably wouldn't have gotten again, not out of because I realized they're offensive, just because of interest change. He also admitted, or I already read this, never mind. I'm dumb. During the same interview, Terrible also addressed a now deleted photo of himself wearing a hoodie from White Rex, the clothing brand founded by far-right Russian MMA fighter Denis Kasputin, who ADL classified as a neo-Nazi. So if the ADL doesn't like him, he's probably a good guy. Though Terrible doesn't offer an apology, he does express regret for another an apology for wearing a shirt? Fuck you. He does express regret for another controversial image, himself holding a rifle while donning a World War II era helmet once worn by the SS. Because fuck an Eastern European having an interest in World War II. Because no one in metal history ever was interested in that before. There's no metal legends who had a giant collection of Nazi memorabilia and based their imagery off of it a lot, and his name was Lemmy. That definitely never happened. Neither podcast nor interview touched on another tattoo, an odal ruin on Terrible's left foot, which the band featured on merchandise as recently as 2023. It sounds like Greg is staring at Alex Terrible's body a lot. Like the Black Sun, the odal ruin is an ancient symbol later adopted by Nazi Germany and more recently used by modern white supremacist groups. It's probably a Norse symbol that you're bitching about. Whether terrible still sports the ruin remains unclear. And really, couldn't all this be solved by covering up some tattoos and just moving on? 1 fucking second, please. That generated an actual response. Hang on. Greg. Salty Greg.
Boo this man!
Couldn't all this be solved by covering up some tattoos? He did cover up the fucking tattoo! You mentioned that in the article! Everybody knows that! This could all be solved by covering up some tattoos. He did! And just moving on. They are trying to. You keep bringing it up. And retards like you. How come we can't just move on past the thing that we keep fucking bugging you about over and over and over again after you've already addressed it thousands of fucking times? Fucking Christ. Can we just get over this hate? If you don't like Alex, just don't listen to his music. Bingo! I have no problem with people saying they don't like Alex or they don't like his music. I have a problem with fucking idiots like this keep spreading this bullshit. How come he hasn't addressed this thing? And wouldn't it be easier if he just did and move on? He did. You keep bringing it up. And you get paid to keep bringing it up, by the way. Just saying. What horseshit, dude? This guy wants to blow Alex 1,000%. If Alex gave the guy an interview, he'd probably just like cum in his pants. Someone asked, did I go to Aftershock this year? I did not go to Aftershock this year, unfortunately. I would have liked to. Didn't work out. Lemmy also said I collect stuff, not the ideas. That is correct. But you know how people are now. If he was going around saying that shit, they would definitely want to fucking burn Motorhead to the ground. These people have obviously not met real Nazis. Real Nazis don't get on stage in front of thousands of diverse people in California and going, I love all of you. Always believe in yourselves and do better. I would pay money to see Wyatt and Metal Meltdown go at it. I try to be nice. I'm not going to hate too much, but let's just say I strongly disagree with many of his takes. I mean, I was not surprised that he agreed with Andrew. Your podcast rocks. I love Rocket. Thanks for keeping it real. Thank you. Appreciate that. What do you think, Rocket? You're dead asleep now. Are you tired of people complaining about shit and then being like, how come we can't just move past this when they keep fucking bringing it up over and over and over again? Me too. Anyway, what are we doing? Xander Dawson says, the more people call people Nazis, two things happen. People stop believing people called Nazis actually are, boy cried wolf, and some people who are moderate say fuck it and move further to the right. This is true. And some people like me who don't give a shit how these fucking retards think about you get to the point where just feel like, okay, sure, yeah, fuck off. What, you want me to beg and be like, no, please. I promise I'm not the thing you're accusing me of. I know I'm not the thing you're accusing me of, so go fuck yourself. You know? Neo-Nazis are gay. Neo-Nazis are retarded and gay. A lot of them literally are. So, don't come at me with this horse shit. Right, Rocket? Rocket hates everyone, no matter their skin color. Yeah. It's so that last line was fucking absurd. Isn't it easy to just move on? They have so many times, and you keep fucking writing articles about it. Not just you, obviously. I'm not saying literally only Greg is spreading the hate, but people like you. Rocket has heard the rant since 3 a.m. every night. That's because he wakes me up at that time. He wouldn't hear it if he'd let me fucking sleep. That's his fault. You didn't want to talk Axl Rose's latest meltdown. I actually forgot about that until right now. How about we do that? I think we got basically 2 more things to go over for now, but they will be fun. Also, does Salty Greg bring those same accusations as all the Germanic pagan bands that use the exact same symbols? He doesn't, does he? Interesting. So, as I think Sharon mentioned here in the chat, everyone's favorite Mickey Mouse impersonator, Axl Rose, had some type of meltdown at a show recently. Take it away, Rock Feed.
So it's getting to the point where I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to start a support group for all the drummers and all the heat and trouble they've been taking from their bandmates over the last few years, whether they're getting kicked out or screamed at on stage. This is just the latest example of what has been a horrible time in recent memory for drummers, all of the membership changes that we've discussed here, and so much more. This is a Guns N' Roses performance in Argentina, down in Buenos Aires for a massive crowd. And in the middle of that performance, you have Axl Rose seemingly going off on the drummer or the drum kit. This is like old school Axl Rose making a comeback, absolutely throwing a fit on stage in front of all of his fans. In classic Axl Rose fashion.
To be fair, I always thought it would be fun to throw the mic.
Here's what we know. We haven't seen this Axl Rose in a long time. For the better part of a decade, Guns N' Roses has been a professional, well-oiled machine, a legendary stadium band playing 3-hour sets night after night and getting great reviews. But in Argentina, something snapped. Video surfacing from the Guns N' Roses show in Buenos Aires shows Axl Rose completely losing his mind during the very first song of the set, no less. We're talking a full-on mic throw.
I didn't know it was the first song. Damn, something is going bad.
At the drum kit, and then kicking the bass drum and subsequently storming off the stage. Now, the biggest question is, what exactly set him off? Was this classic case of bad sound in his monitors, or was Axl sending a very public, very angry message to the band's new drummer? Almost immediately during the performance, you can see Axl is frustrated here, shows him looking visibly pissed off, and then he just launches his microphone and he violently throws it onto the drum kit. Now, we've covered here over the last couple of years, he used to throw his mic into the crowd every night, and apparently that injured someone in the audience, hitting them. Now, he wasn't done there. At another point in the show, Axl walks straight up to the drum riser and gives the bass drum a good kick. The footage also shows him ripping off his leather jacket and angrily walking off stage. You know, I just think that some of this stuff is just a little
hilarious,
silly when you're doing this on stage. And I just
Axl Rose is like 60.
Would love to know what warranted this kind of a response. Now, to make matters worse, we got to talk about who was behind the drum kit. Unfortunately, this is a very new drummer to the band. It wasn't the band's longtime drummer. This is Isaac Carpenter, who just took over the drum kit for Guns N' Roses just earlier this year. Imagine being...
I did not know that. No pressure at all.
Being new on the job in Guns N' Roses, and you've got Axl Rose throwing a fit and taking it out either on you or your drum kit. Now, there's a lot of speculation. Was Axl just having a nightmare with his own sound?
I mean, I have to notice that both Slash and Duff are looking in the same direction, so I'm assuming it's something with the sound. Or the drummer sucks.
Were the drums off? Or was he unhappy with Carpenter's performance on the very first song of the night. Definitely a rough way to start the set off. Now, later in the show, Axl did address the audience, but he didn't explain what happened. He just said, so I'll just try and wing this. Now, in all fairness to Axl Rose, he has been putting on really good performances. Guns N' Roses, legendary band. You haven't really seen this side of Axl Rose in quite a while, at least publicly on stage. Guns N' Roses still in the middle of that Latin America tour, and it runs through November 8th. In Mexico City. Here is that crazy moment on stage with Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose flipping out.
That was a very minor kick in the beginning. That was like there was a rat in the wall. Hey, what's that? What's that? Why are they all going there?
I made it there anyway. So
he's mad.
So I'll just try and wing this.
That's classic Axl for show, man. I have to notice that each time he struck the bass drum and not the drummer. So I think it's more equipment sound issue. Imagine that's your first day on the job drumming for Guns N' Roses and he's kicking your shit. You're like, what's going on?
Wow. All right. So now that we've all seen it, what do you think? Was this just a one-time frustration? Or
I think it was sound issues. What do you think, class? If you hate your drummer, just go after the drummer and don't destroy the kit. But if you're that mad, then fucking go for it. Just hitting equipment and other than the drummer, Axl has changed. Drummers are the heart of the band. You screw with them, they can fuck up your timing big time. Oh yes, I'm usually dialed into what the drummer is doing. And I can... If the drummer gets thrown off, it will be difficult for me unless everyone else is on track. Maybe Axl should focus on not sounding like a Mickey Mouse impersonator. I would agree. Why is he angry at the drums? They still sound better than his voice. Looks like a sound issue more for sure. Yeah, that's what I think. I think he would have shown more anger at the actual drummer, not particularly the bass drum, it looked like. What's with all the Guns N' Roses hate? Hey! I still love Appetite for Destruction. I was one of the 3 people who were excited when they did reunite in 2017. None of my friends gave a shit, and I was like, fuck yeah! But Axl is Axl. All right. I got one more thing for everybody before we can move on, or before I'm going to move on and go back to modding Red Dead Redemption 2 into being a huge fucking game. That's what I was doing today. And working on a video. I'm going to clip this podcast into different videos for what we talked about. And probably have some more quicker ones come up too. Ones where I can more react to something. But I am working on a more bigger, detailed, sitting down, writing a script, doing research video. And it is on how metal is not racist. So all of the people who think I'm a Nazi would be very confused. And the people who are Nazis will be very mad. Yeah, because obviously I did the live reaction with you guys to Andrew Lee's stupid-ass fucking video. But obviously we're doing some more shit talking, live reacting, having fun with each other. So I am making a more detailed written down. Here are all of the points that disprove your stupid fucking theory. Now I'm going to go back to calling you a retard. But so that's coming soon. Look out for that, because calling music of any kind racist, retarded. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because that's my thing. No, I don't think metal upholds white supremacy. I think metal is one of the most accepting and culturally diverse art forms on the fucking planet. That's why I get annoyed at that shit. But more for that later. Right now, we got Tank the Tech has made a video on the Azalea dying situation that never goes away. Believe it or not, Azalea dying is back. Let's react to Tank's video. I have not watched this yet. And let's make some fun of Tiny Tim. By the way, someone pointed out in a comment a while ago that all of these metal media people, when Tim was really going crazy, they all made posts saying, we're not going to talk about this anymore. And then as soon as Tim had announced me, like, all right, we're going to talk about it again.
So, Azalea dying, making another return. I think this is the third.
Pause.
Boo this man!
Or fourth one at this point. And I told you guys, sorry, we're live on Twitch. I'm pointing at chat. If you're watching on YouTube later, you can go to twitch.tv/tankthetech. I'm about to leave for tour, so we're getting lazy recording content on Twitch again. But I told you guys this was going to happen. Now, admittedly, it didn't go exactly how I thought it was going to. But when Azalea dying had the big issue earlier this year where all the members quit with all the stuff that was going on with Tim, people thought this band was going to be done. And I said, I don't think so, because we've seen...
Because retards need money.
Tons of bands continue on that probably shouldn't, because there's always young people that are willing to play for bands to get their foot in the door, put something on their resume. Look at Trapped, Puddle of Mud, Cradle of Filth, rotating door of musicians because people just want to get their name out there. Now, it seems like Tim found a band pretty easily, but I will say I was wrong about the young people trying to get a resume for the most part, because the band members that he found are not new young guys that are just trying to build resumes.
No, they're really good musicians with good resumes, and that makes you suspicious.
Think like he actually found some very talented members here. I know I said I was never going to talk about Tim Lambesis drama on this channel again, and technically this isn't Tim Lambesis drama because Tim didn't really do anything. That's not what we're talking about. We're just
mental gymnastics are fun.
Talking
love you, Tank, but
about Azalea dying, and I actually wanted to talk about three big things in this video. Who are the new members and where did they come from? Why would they join this band with the history that Tim has? And then at the very end, maybe give my opinions on how I think this is going to go. But to do a quick recap, I'm pretty sure the majority of people out there that are metalheads kind of know the backstory with Tim Lambesis and Azalea dying. But just in case you don't, very, very quick recap. In 2013, Tim Lambesis, the singer for Azalea dying, was...
Dumbass tried to hire a hitman to kill his wife. He ended up hiring a cop who turned him in. He went to jail. He got out of jail and pretended to be nice, reformed the band. The band fell apart because he was abusing his new wife. And now here we are again.
Arrested for trying to hire a hitman to kill his then wife. Yeah, that actually happened. And then he eventually went to court over it. In 2014, he actually did plead guilty to it. And then he got thrown in jail. He got a 6-year sentence, but he was actually let out on parole. I think it would be parole after 2 years. So
I didn't even know that until somewhat recently. That's such horseshit.
Only did 2 years of time, and then he was let out. He then ends up marrying a girl that I think, if I believe right, he met while he was in jail. Like, she wasn't in jail, but like he somehow had contact with her. They got married somewhere.
Women, stop marrying people in jail. Stop it. Actually, if you're a man, don't marry people in jail either. But
in this timeline, he announced that the band was coming back out with new music. He had new members. And then a few years later, he gets a divorce from that new wife. And then in 2020, he married, or was it 2020 or 2022? I think it was 2022. He got remarried again. And then a couple of years later in 2024, they got divorced. And then the next year.
So he's not allowed to get married again. 3 strikes are done.
Year 2025, the year we're in now, all this other crazy drama comes out where there's videos online of him screaming at his wife, and there's videos of him like crashing out. There's a
full Donkey Kong
video of him like kicking a dog, all this crazy stuff. And then all of the band members quit. So you've got years and years of crazy drama going on. The entire band that was with Azalea dying quit, all stating that they were present for situations where he like abused his ex-wife and all this other stuff. So that's where we're at now. And everybody thought this band was done, but they are not. They are back. So let's talk about that. So when it was announced that As I Lay Dying was coming back, Tim actually said that he actually had to sell all of his motorcycles and some other things to financially back this project. A lot of people were calling it a money grab just to get back out there, which, let's be honest, people are in a band because they want to make money and stuff. But
oh, by the way, I just remembered Tim was crashing out at people on Instagram. I just remembered that. Right, we definitely have to look at that before I get off of here. Keep talking, Tank. But
to my knowledge, they have been dropped from Napalm Records and they are currently without a label. Now, As I Lay Dying is still listed on Napalm Records' website under their merchandise and stuff, probably because they still have rights to it. But their latest single that they just released was actually released under their own name on Spotify, and they used DistroKid, which is an independent publisher for like unsigned artists usually. So I don't believe they actually have label support right now in 2025, although they do have management. FM Music Management is their manager. They also work with bands like Testament, Death Angel, Biohazard, Venom Inc. Like, they have a little,
they're owned by Gary Holt.
Little bit of business backing them, but no label. So financially, yes, he sold his motorcycles and now we're here. And a lot of people kind of laugh when we talk about the numbers because, you know, people like to say like, oh, Tim's not the issue. Well, numbers usually don't lie. And Tim is the only constant in As I Lay Dying. And over the years, there's been 15 different actual band members and then 11 other touring musicians, not including the 4 that just joined. So this is, like we talked about some other bands, one of those bands that has a revolving door of members coming in and out. But for the new guys that just joined, like I said, these aren't really like no-namers that I thought it was going to be.
No, not at all.
We're just like young, naive kids that were just going to join an established band. There's quite a few names in here that are interesting. The first name that comes up is Tim Young. He will be taking over drumming for As I Lay Dying. He is actually a schooled drummer. He's gone to music school. Very prominent name in the death metal community. He's played with bands like Hate Eternal, All That Remains, Vital Remains, Nile, Decrepit.
Extremely good drummer.
Birth, Morbid Angel, I Am Morbid, and now he's with As I Lay Dying.
That's fucking weird. Why would you do that?
2006, which I realize is 20 years ago at this point, but it's still cool. He won the fastest feet title at the world's fastest drummer competition. I believe it was 872 bass drum hits in 60 seconds. To put that into perspective, that's 14 and a half bass drum hits on a drum head per second. It's pretty insane. It's not the world record, but he won the title that year, and that
more than I could do
is quite insane. The next name in the band, and this
more than Lars could do.
One actually kind of blew me away because this is a very established name. Bill Hudson, Brazilian American guitar player that is very well known with a lot of European acts. He's played with bands like the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, UDO, Sabotage, Night Rage, Vital Remains. Him and the new drummer, Tim,
he plays in Doro, too.
In I Am Morbid together, so there's already a musical connection there. And he's also the current guitarist for German metal legend, Doro Pesch. So it's not like this is a young guy that needs...
So he goes to Doro, like, hey, Doro, just got off tour with the woman abuser who gaslights his wives and tries to kill them. How are you doing, Queen of Metal?
Needs to join a band. He's even said online that he's been friends with Tim for years and years and years, and to him, he just wanted to join a band with friends and make good music. So, and with Tim in the band, a guy that he's toured with, there's already some connection there. Next person in the band that's going to be doing bass and vocals is Chris Clancy. Now, Chris was actually most known for being the singer and guitarist for a band called Mutiny Within. Not super big and popular anymore, but a lot of people might remember, specifically wrestling fans, you might actually know Mutiny Within and not realize it. They did the theme song for Evan Bourne in the WWE, and that's kind of what they're really known for.
I don't know what that is.
But he's also a big name in mixing and engineering and production. He's worked for a lot of different bands, whether it's just doing vocal production on albums or actual mixing and mastering. He's worked with Amon Amarth, Horizon Ignited, Cataclysm, Machine Head. And I imagine he's going to be doing a lot of this new As I Lay Dying stuff. I mean, he is credited with doing the mixing and mastering and engineering on their latest single, Echoes. So I gotta imagine he's going to be doing most of the stuff in the future too. The last new member of the band is probably going to be a name that some people don't recognize. This is the only one where I kind of would slightly chalk it up to the, maybe a guy just trying to get into a band to build his resume, get his name out there. But it's not like he's a newbie to music by any means. His name is Don Veda. Don was a part of this post-hardcore kind of emo-core group called Jamie's Elsewhere back in the day for a few years. But his solo stuff that he's done after that is actually really, really good. This guy is actually a very good singer and a very good guitar player. I don't know much about him other than what I've just mentioned, but I've seen his social media and stuff like that. And he's always posting like his own music and he's very, very talented. So I got to imagine he'll be doing vocals in this band too. I know Chris, their bass player, was credited as doing vocals. So I don't know which one's going to be doing like the leads and the clean parts that we hear on a lot of their songs, but I could confidently say it could be Don because he also has a very, very good voice. So now that we've gone through the new members, like the big question to me is why?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Just why? You're all very talented and can be in other bands.
Considering the fact that I can confidently say the majority of this music industry does not take Tim Lambesis seriously anymore. They just don't, man. Like behind
That's why they're touring in Russia.
Scenes in music industry, people talk. There's probably a reason why there's not a lot of labels out there looking to pick them up. Although I got to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if a label picked up As I Lay Dying because if there's money to be made, somebody's going to do it. That's the same thing I said when Napalm Records signed them. But again, the question is, especially considering these guys all have a pretty strong musical background, like why join the band knowing what's happened before? I've seen some of the new
makes you wonder about some of these people.
Members on social media, like Facebook, mutual Facebook friends and stuff like that, kind of arguing their position and their point with people, where the constant kind of thing that I see from some of these members is, you guys don't know Tim like we know him. Have you ever spent time with
shut the fuck up
him like one-on-one, behind closed doors and stuff like that? No, all you guys like to talk shit on the internet, which to their point, they have a point. A lot.
But I'll tell you all right now, I could almost guarantee all of those members have already signed NDAs written by Tim and his manager to not say anything negative about him whatsoever. There's no way he would have had them in the band announced at this point without having already done that.
A lot of us like to
try to do it to his wife.
Sit here and talk shit on the internet, and we don't know these people personally, but we've seen the things that have happened in the past. And I would like to bring up that these are the same things that like Phil and Nick and Ken and all those guys were saying when they rejoined As I Lay Dying before they just recently quit. Same things like, oh, Tim's changed. We're giving him another chance. Like, you guys don't know him like we know him. So it's kind of the same thing we're seeing here. So this might be just a broken record at this point. I will say, though, I did personally reach out.
Stockholm Syndrome is a thing.
To one of the new members of As I Lay Dying just to ask, like,
bro, what the fuck?
I believe I said, like, hey, I'm just curious. Why join As I Lay Dying with all the stuff that people know about from the past? And while I won't share the specific conversation because I didn't tell them I would share it, I will say their general kind of tone and vibe from it was exactly what I saw other band members saying on Facebook, was like, we've been friends with.
I've known him for 2 weeks. He would never do that.
Tim for years and years and years. And yeah, he's gone through stuff, but you guys don't know him like we know him. And, he's changed since all this stuff has happened and he's in a new, healthier relationship.
He's changed in 6 months. When he was denying that there was a problem in the first place, he's now a completely different person. After he gaslit his wife into making a fake post denying abuse, after he gaslit his band members to the point where they quit, after they all called him out and evidence came out, and the whole time he said that it was personal inner things and the band just wasn't working and it was nothing to him at all. Now, all of a sudden, he's completely changed and is a good, generous, kind person in 6 months. It wasn't the 2 years he spent in jail. He came out the same after that. But 6 months after this internet drama, he's changed now, guys.
relationship, so he's doing a lot better, and it's great to just be around and write music.
Shut the fuck up.
It's kind of funny for me to hear that because they're like, he's changed. He's in a new, healthier relationship. I mean, this is all we're talking in the span of less than a year. All of this stuff has happened. So that's kind of wild to me, the whole he's changed thing.
Especially when he never admitted to doing anything wrong in the first place.
And listen, I firmly believe in giving people a second chance. And I do believe that people...
I don't believe in giving people fifth chances.
Can change, but dude's on like his sixth chance now. It's wild, man. Like, people usually don't get this many chances. So they just are like, hey, we're friends with the guy. We want to be there for him.
How many people out there do you think are still fans of Tim Lambesis but think Alex Terrible is a Nazi? There's got to be some.
And that's what it is. And we're aware that it's not going to look good, but we don't care what anybody else thinks. And it's great to say that, but like, people are now going to associate your name with Tim Lambesis if things don't work out well. So going on from that to the last part of this, it's like, how do I think this is going to go? Like, how will this end? It's going to go one of two ways, man. The first way is that everything's fine and nothing happens. Like, maybe Tim is truly changed. Maybe this is a great lineup of people that he can work with. Maybe he is in a healthier relationship. Maybe he gets some therapy or just some help that he needs. Or
maybe there needs to be stronger police and security at future As They Lay Dying shows.
Things go well this time. And people are...
Young, impressionable women should not be allowed at As They Lay Dying shows in the future.
Probably going to hope for drama, and there's no drama. And then they have a successful album, they tour, and everything's cool.
That's not going to happen.
And you know what? At the end of the day, it's kind of what you hope for people. Now, I've got my own opinion on what Tim's done in the past and stuff like that. I don't listen to their music. I'll be 100% honest. I haven't listened to the new song. I won't listen to the new song because I just don't support it. But there's a lot of other people that do. And there's a lot of people who get a lot of enjoyment from As They Lay Dying music. And that's great. So if everything goes well, cool. The second way this could go is exactly how it's gone every time before, where something crazy happens and all of these guys are going to quit. And then there's going to be a shitload of people around them in the music industry and otherwise saying, told you so.
I can't wait for that paycheck.
Because this has happened before and we told you it's going to happen again. And yeah, that's really about it. One of two ways. Everything works out for the way they want it to, or everything works out in the way that everybody expects it to work out. That's just kind of my take on everything.
If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's Tim Lambesis and he's lying.
Again, I don't hope for anything bad for anybody. It's just you personally, not like I would get the offer anyways. You couldn't pay me enough to join As They Lay Dying.
Fuck no. Fuck no. If Tim personally said he would give me $10 million to join As They Lay Dying, I would tell him to fuck off. Absolutely not.
And I know a lot of other musicians out there in the industry, like personally, that Tim reached out to basically begging people to come play for him. And a lot of people said no. So I know that these people in this band, at least some of them, were not the first choices. Like he went down a list because there's a lot of people in this industry that said no to joining this band. But he found some guys that would, and hopefully it doesn't reflect poorly upon them. Because like I said, the music industry is very small. It's not like these guys are new to it, but associating yourself with somebody that does have the history of Tim does not look good to a lot of people. But anyways, just wanted to kind of give you my thoughts, kind of give you the background to the new members and stuff like that. And
so since we went over that, let's see how much Tim shows that he's changed and is a new man and no longer does all of his abuse and things. He's seen the light, guys. He's now the actual Christian he pretended to be a long time ago. Surprisingly enough, As They Lay Dying has reallowed comments on their posts. Surprising, I know. And not only have they reallowed comments on their posts, but Tim himself has been responding to some of them. Are they still here? Or did he delete them? He said some funny shit. He was trying to go full Ronnie Radke, and it did not work. Which one is it? This? No. Don't tell me you deleted it, dude. I swear to God. It was in a post announcing the new members. It doesn't seem like any of these are that. I know I screenshotted some of them, so don't try to mess with. Oh, wait. It's probably this. Yeah, this is all right. Oh, now the comments have been limited. That's nice. The comments here were definitely not limited before, but now they are. Did Tim delete all of the negative ones? Probably. Don't let me and thousands of people down again with your personal life. Who cares about his personal life? This man doesn't owe you or me anything. Love how nobody can be bothered to update Wikipedia. Oh, I think, okay, so we do have something. There we go. Yep. So, Tim Lambesis tried to pull a Ronnie Radke. The only difference is that Ronnie Radke is nowhere near the fucking piece of shit that Tim Lambesis is. He actually has a defense. You do not, Tim. So, this commenter said, I love how nobody can be bothered to update the Wikipedia. In case someone does, may as well skip the extra steps and just place them under former members. Tim Lambesis responded saying, couldn't help but notice you play guitar. Does it upset you that even if As They Lay Dying changed members 20 more times, we still wouldn't pick you? And you'll be like, but I didn't want to play in that band anyway. While either playing the incredibly shitty songs you wrote or playing covers of other great songs written by the other people greater than the craft in you. That's what you get for taking yourself so seriously. I would have responded, hey, Tim, how's your wife? Oh, get a grip, Timothy. You're getting triggered by randoms on the internet and talk about taking yourself so seriously. The irony. And someone said, bro, this is not a good look. Yeah, if you have the history that Tim does, you should maybe not do that. Because Ronnie Radke is actually cool. Wonder what a meet and greet with Tim would be. A punch in the face. There were more. Did he respond here? I don't think so. Oh, I know there's more, Tiny Tim. I saw him. All these fucking... Glad to see you getting back up. You people are dumb. Oh, this was fucking hilarious. Someone named Mexican High said, the victim suit does not fit you anymore, with the laughing. Tim says, I agree, because I don't consider myself a victim. I'm glad, Tim, because I also agree. Because literally nobody on the fucking planet ever considered you a victim. Because you're not. You're an abuser. This is the best quality of life for me thus far, and all the loss from last year, it was this year, Tim. It is one of the greatest blessings I've ever had in my life. So thankful. Maybe you misunderstand me standing up against false narratives about me as me thinking I'm a victim. False narratives proven in the court of law. Serve jail time. False narratives. I'm just part of the few people in society who cares to dig for truth rather than the media's narrative. Let me translate that for you. As someone who does dig for truth and does not come at it from a fucking bias, if I'm wrong about something, I'll tell you. Tim does not dig for things to find the truth. Tim tries to craft narratives to fit his reality and what he wants. If he was digging for truth, he would have admitted the truth of what happened and why his band actually left. But he didn't. There's some people who genuinely do dig for truth, and there's other wolves in sheep's clothing who pretend to do the same to actually create their own narrative. This guy says, thanks, Tim. You can't imagine what your music means to me. You should find more bands. Which member is leaving first? You. And not Tim, but that was funny. Richard Metal says, let's see how long this lineup lasts. Tiny Tim says, easier to keep a lineup that actually cares about you as a person. I said before, if they're not locking you in a straitjacket and forcing you to take your meds every night, then they don't care about you as a person. They're just yes men. Any more? Who am I to judge when I myself walk as an imperfect man? I wish Tim and the rest of his band luck. You may be imperfect, but you try murdering innocent women, then I think you do have room to stand. These people are pathetic. Like, I'm not for cancel culture. I've said again, like, if you really want to listen to Asley dying, I guess I'm not going to be like, no, delete all those albums. But I will judge you for it. Asley dying 3.0. Don't fuck up again. That's a good one. Tim, I'll do my best to make you proud. I was going to be threatened and abused in front of multiple witnesses for years before having understandable panic attacks again. But then I saw your comment and changed course. You should just join a band with Danny Filth at this point, dude. You're both so fucking full of shit. Tim was going to be threatened, everybody. Don't fuck up again. Copy paste. Oh, snap. The comments are back on. This another one? Yep. So, I don't really get the feeling that Tim has actually become a better person. I don't think he's done any introspection ever, but especially not in the last 6 months when his band fell apart. All the new members, blink 3 times if you need help. Seriously. Tim, the documents are everywhere, sir. Yeah. Yes, they are. See, if you dig into accusations against Ronnie Radke, you find that a lot of them are total bullshit, or not the way that people are saying. If you look into accusations against Tim Lambesis, you pull up actual criminal records and evidence and videos of things that he's done. And actually, not to keep comparing him, but Ronnie Radke does actually address things he did in the past that were stupid. Tim Lambesis has never even taken responsibility for the first woman that he abused. His wife that he tried to have killed. He's never once said, that was bad of me and I shouldn't have done that. Every time he was asked about it, he goes, it's really hard being in jail, man. But now I'm happy to be out, man. And I'm just trying to be strong, man. And no mention of, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't have tried to kill her. That was kind of bad, wasn't it? Asley Dying is coming back, but Alex Terrible is the worst person in metal, apparently. A guy with a wife who's pregnant and has, like, family values. He's a bad one. Asley Dying, that one's fine. Yeah, so, anyway. Are you going to go see Asley Dying? Are you excited? Why? But I'm not for cancel culture either, but those are some serious crimes, which is totally different than controversial speech. That's exactly it. That's exactly my point. I do not support cancel culture in any way for someone who said something that I don't agree with. Ooh, whatever. I was saying that Tenacious D should not have canceled their tour when they said the stupid Trump thing. But yeah, having provable crimes on record that you serve time for is a lot fucking different than saying something controversial years ago that people didn't like. It's also very different when you've shown zero remorse ever for the crimes that you did. Yeah, he's never once said sorry or anything like that. There are former convicts who have killed someone or killed people who have turned their life around and now try to educate people on being better, making better decisions. Tim is not one of them. At all. But with all of that said, covered a lot here, man. I feel a little bit better now after Rocket kept me up all fucking night. See how we circled back. It's like poetry. It rhymes. With that all being said, man, that's pretty much everything I had to cover on this episode. Had a lot to talk about, didn't we? I think we got everything. At the moment, my band does not have any shows announced right now. That could change in a week, couple weeks, whatever. So we're not laying around doing nothing. But I can strongly hint, without further elaboration, that I'm quite positive that I will be returning to my 2 favorite countries next year to make content for the channel in some way. And I'm super fucking stoked for that. But with that said, go check out my content if you like. If you haven't seen my videos or my latest ones, check them out. I'm going to have a much better one on how metal isn't racist coming up soon. That will be fun. And my band did just play at the Whiskey A Go Go in Los Angeles, and here is some live footage of that. Take care, everybody. I will see you next week.
To your thighs and belly.
Like I care.